Well, thank you, Chair, and I thank our nominees so much for your interest in serving. Mr. Isaac and enjoyed our breakfast some days ago, and I expect to support your nomination and very much appreciate your presence here. Mr. Haynes, congratulations. The global economy is increasingly driven by cross-border data flows, digital services, and online platforms. And U.S. firms are facing more foreign barriers, such as data localization rules and discriminatory digital taxes. Within ITA, industry and analysis is already involved in tracking these digital barriers and advising on market access for U.S. providers. If confirmed, Mr. Haynes, how do you see INA's role in digital trade evolving? And what would be your top priorities for ITA's work on open digital markets and cross-border data flows?
Thank you for that question, Senator Young, and appreciate also speaking to your staff yesterday. It was
yes, sir.
Good to hear your priorities. I would say two things. Within the Deputy Assistant Secretary for Services, which is under the Assistant Secretary for Industry Analysis, we run two specific programs that focus on data privacy. One is the Cross-Border Privacy Rules, or CBPR, is a voluntary certification where U.S. companies can opt into essentially adhering to robust data protections. And we then request that various countries recognize those rules and adhere to those standards. As we've been going through the agreements on reciprocal tariffs or any of the bilateral trade agreements, we've been making sure that CBPR is front and center in terms of the standard that we want to hold our bilateral trading partners to in the digital space. The second program and its sister programs would be the US-EU Data Privacy Framework. We've also started a program with the UK and the Swiss. I think it provides a very firm foundation in terms of allowing free flow of personal data from Europe to the United States. I think those are two good foundations that we could expand upon, especially as we're getting into the US-EU trade agreements, as you know, Secretary Lutnick is heavily involved in, and we'll be supporting him in his efforts, knowing that that's going to be a cornerstone of the agreement.
Thank you, Mr. Haynes. Mr. Haynes, on another matter, China's predatory practices in sectors like steel, critical minerals, and advanced manufacturing have continuously put sustained pressure on U.S. companies. Inside ITA, industry and analysis brings together industry engagement and trade policy analysis. So it sees both what companies are experiencing and how the rules of the system are working in practice. If confirmed, Mr. Haynes, what are a few concrete things you would build or change inside INA to sharpen ITA's China work? For example, specific analytic products, priority sectors, or support for trade agreement enforcement?
Thank you, Senator. The most current concrete example I can provide you, again, is our current work on mapping critical mineral supply chains. I mean, this is the main trade issue in the U.S.-China trading relationship, and one that the President and Secretary Lutnick are laser focused on solving. Currently, we are providing mapping information for all 54 minerals. We're really focusing on the processing and refining side of the equation, given that in that sense, China dominates the supply chains there. And we're going to continue to work with the White House-led investment committee to ensure that we not only understand those supply chains, but are able to secure them, and thus secure a number of different sectors that are downstream that require these critical components. So if confirmed, that would be one of my main focuses, is to continue that work and help to secure those supply chains.
Well, since your point of emphasis is on critical minerals, maybe you could speak to this. I've advocated for a number of years running that our country develop a national economic security strategy. This would be an analog to our national defense strategy. It's a subset of an economic security strategy would be strategy for critical mineral resilience and sourcing on an ongoing basis. Might I&A play a role in development of a written strategy subject to scrutiny, but ultimately some measure of consensus around what the policy is so that we could develop a policy that would endure beyond this administration, just as we do through a national defense strategy?
Yes, sir, Senator. I would imagine that any strategy like that would probably be White House-led, like a national security strategy, national defense strategy. And if something like that were to come into existence, I would imagine that we would absolutely be asked to provide support in developing that. And if it does come to fruition, and I'm confirmed, would be delighted to do so.
Well, great. Well, I hope we'll have an opportunity to work together on that broader matter, which I agree would have to come from the White House. I know they're listening, so I thought I'd bring it up. But I expect that I will be supporting your nomination, and thank you for answering my questions. Chairman?
Senator.